Surely I have turned myself to thee, the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Surely my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, and my death are all for Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No associate has thee. Of this I am commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King. There is no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I am greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So please grant me protection against all my faults. For none can grant me protection against all my faults but thee. And thee, guide me into the best of morals. For none can guide me into the best of morals but thee. And turn away from me the evil and indecent morals. For none can turn away from me the evil and indecent morals but thee. O Allah, make Muhammad successful and make the true followers of Muhammad successful. Here in the wilderness of North America, as thou did make Abraham and the true followers, for surely thou art praised and magnified in our midst. O Allah, bless Muhammad and bless the true followers of Muhammad. Here in the wilderness of North America, as thou did bless Abraham and the true followers of Abraham, for surely thou art praised and magnified in our midst. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his last and greatest messenger. In the name of Allah, the fashioner, the manifest, the gatherer, he who assembles, arranges, composes, and connects together. We believe, we, the Muslims, we believe that Allah God appeared in the person of Master W. Farad Muhammad, July 1930, the long-awaited Messiah of the Christians and the Mahdi of the Muslims. I personally attest to this great foretold advent. I further bear witness that this mighty one raised from among us the Elijah of your Bible and the Muhammad of your Holy Quran, the last and greatest messenger of Allah, the most humble and honorable Elijah Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum. Black man. You have today an unread message. It's from Elijah on behalf of the Lord of the worlds. It was this Lord, Allah God in person, who gave to Elijah your number, our number, a little over 17 million captive, swallowed up in America. The message is from Allah through his messenger, And it is to the black man in America, not of America. The black man is not of America because the black man is not American. Messenger Elijah Muhammad proved, according to the dictionary, the diction of the white man, that an American is a citizen of the United States or of the earlier British colonies, one not belonging to one of the aboriginal races. He said their own explanation as to what an American is makes it clear that we are not members of the white Europeans or descendants of that race. A true American is one who a true American is one other than the aboriginal race or races that inhabited the Western Hemisphere or the whole planet Earth before the coming of the white man from Europe. The white man, in his own book, in his own language, declassifies us as Americans, true Americans. You don't enjoy the freedoms of the true American black man. If you did, you wouldn't be crying out no justice, no peace to the white man, the true American who is of his nation. We built it. This nation was built on our backs. That shows and proves our potential. But this white man, he made merchandise out of us. He made slaves out of us. And he put us to work exempt from pay. And he had us to build this nation for himself. But all in all, the true American is he who is of his nation, called America. See, this is a message to the black man in America exclusively. Why? Because the black man is a stranger in America. He's not of America. He's in America. And because of this, he's not a brother, nor a friend, but a stranger in America. Moses told us that the seed of Abraham will be strangers in a land, not citizens of a land, but strangers in a land. Strangers in the land, not theirs. It would be in this land that the seed of Abraham would serve as slaves for 400 years. This message is exclusive to the black man in America because the black man in America is the seed of Abraham. And America is the land where he is a stranger. America is the land that the black man served 400 years of torment and affliction. 300 years of chattel slave. Now, 158 years in the status of freed slave. Not free in fact, just a freed slave. You didn't celebrate freedom this past Juneteenth. You celebrated the end of free labor. You remained a servant June 19th, 1865, and are yet a servant in the white man's workforce. Yeah, we're talking about July 2023. See, we, the Muslims, we want a full and complete freedom, not a holiday, nor an apology, nor a check. We want a full and complete freedom. We, the Muslims, are they who want deliverance from the midst of our 400-year enemies, who keep us subjected to the status of servants and subjected to every brutality and murder known to the civilized man. The black man in America is of the best make of man. That's what he's of. But is in the worst conditions known to man. Conditions so inhumane that no one believes he could live again. The father of civilization, but is now found in the ruins of a superpower called America. You know, they got their fronts up like it looked like business as usual, but they broke. Ruins are knocked down, half standing, but it's just ruined. This is America. The black man is in the worst of conditions. No one believes in him. No one. Not his oppressor, his woman, not even himself. Why the difference, black man? Why do we only pride ourselves in our abilities to get money? Why do we frown upon the others of us who aren't earning as much as you chase? Onto a specific type among us, because you clearly don't know the time. And you feeling less than because you ain't earning as much as the paper chaser. See, It's paper over principle with some of us. Even though the paper is as dead as the tree it was cut from. These are the same ones easily spotted in the so-called Black conscious community. They come talking Black, but thinking white. They holler Black power, but support and maintain the white power structure. Race first, this. Hotep, that. Foundational, this. Peace and blessings, Black family, that. Salam alaikum, that. All while promoting Chevy trucks and dog biscuits every 10 minutes during commercial break of their videos. And here we are keeping it pure, straight to the point from the messenger, the final warner. This is why we really don't have time with you comment section Muslims. I'm talking to the jeers and the cheers, the jeers. This white man is attacking us cyberly. And you still sit and look at us undergo attack. And you either sit and cheer or you sit and you jeer. We really believe this. We really believe that Allah came in person and gave Elijah Muhammad personally the final message that would save our lives and your lives. I'm talking to the Black man in America. Obviously, I'm not talking to the African American because he thinks he's of America. Looking at this actual facts board here, this actual facts board is anti-African American because what you see there is separation of the two with a question, a most dire question. Which one will survive the war of Armageddon? They're not going down together and they're not going to rise together. The rising of one means the falling of another. This is the fall of America. This is why this is message to the Black man in America. The true African American is he who would take an African name and place it before an American name. Umar and Johnson does not go together. That's confusion. So no matter how Black you talk, no matter how Pan-Africanist you claim to be, you are not that. You are African American, sir, with all due respect. That's some more of the confusion of the hour, because this is the day of confusion. Most would be confused during the day of decision. Surely by the time man is at loss. A loss of what? The knowledge of himself. True knowledge of himself that takes you back beyond the cotton fields, takes you back beyond the continent called Africa. Takes you way back beyond those thicker beads. Black man. That's why you got to come to class. If you come to class, you would know and understand that there is no difference between the white man and the so-called Jew. What separates them but religion? What separates them but their understanding of what they read in the book? Oh, they understand the books to go in and tamper with, to cause to be no longer holy, to admit and omit truth and falsehood. That shows and proves you understood the book to do such. It shows and proves your nature, devil, that you would even manipulate the word of God. But you don't manipulate anything that's in your favor. You saw something that the Negro didn't see. The Negro didn't see because you didn't allow him to see. 2023 and the black man still can't see. The white man is blocking your vision. The white man is attacking us on all fronts to prevent this truth from getting to you, black man. And you sit back and you watch us do all of this. With your cheers and your jeers. Something is wrong. See, you have a nation that you already belong to. Your DNA is connected to this nation. You have a nation, and then you have a so-called black conscious community. Where is this community that exists outside of the white man's internet? Where all you niggas are caught up in having the gall, the audacity to sit on the couch, lay under your covers, and text a chat group while you eat noodles in your dingy wife beater, expecting to be taught in a chat room. There will be no extracurricular teaching in chat rooms. We busy in these streets. You can take that over there to Living Rooms United. Niggas love playing on the internet. Without the internet, you niggas wouldn't even be Muslims. You couldn't even talk Islam because you ain't doing it in the streets now. Wait till you fall in your comfort zone and want to start typing and playing on the internet. Worse than our children out here. At least they believe in the foolishness that they get themselves involved in. Y'all niggas playing. Nigga. I'm talking black, pushing white. All while promoting Chevy trucks and dog biscuits. Revolution won't be televised. It'll be monetized though, right? If you ain't talking separation, you ain't talking revolution, flat out. If you ain't talking separation, you ain't talking reparations, flat out. And for some of you who've opened the message and left the messenger on red, nigga, if you ain't talking training, you ain't talking Elijah, flat out. Find somebody to play with. All that YouTube monetizing and misinformation and mixed instructions. That's just more paper chasing. More chasing of the white man's paper with no sincere intent to revolve. Ain't playing with none of you niggas. Paper over principle. That's how you move. Send 1,000 invites to come to class. And it's always the lobby. I had to work. So yeah, that's paper over principle. 1,000 invites and you make none. Don't show up in the chat room, bruh. Capitalizing off the revolution. This so-called Black conscious community with no program. Divided in that so-called community. Playing. That's talking black and thinking white. Black bodies with white heads. Black bodies awaken every day. Navigate through everyday life with only the knowledge they received from the white man. And that's why you doubt yourself. That's why you compete against each other. because you see yourself through the eyes he gave you. You woke up in America this morning not knowing who you are, black man. But your very first morning in America, after arriving here 468 years ago, you still knew. You were still aware. So he told you in his schools, after having you pledge your allegiance to his American flag, that our enslavement under his flag began in the year 1619, just 8 years after the publishing of King James's version of the Bible. But slavery and affliction for the black man in America began in 1555. In between 1555 and 1619 is a lie. In between 1555 and 1619 is 64 years. 64 years of history not taught in the white man's history classes of his American public school system. 64 years of omitted, undisclosed history. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us that above all of our studies, history is the most attractive and best qualified to reward our research. He said, history develops the springs and motives of human actions and displays the consequences of circumstances which operate most powerfully on the destinies of the human being. Current circumstances in America, black man, are the consequential effects of having been brought here for slave purposes and kept a slave for over 400 years. They told us that John Joe commanded the first ship that brought the first of our fathers to the Americas in 1619. They say he did this on a ship called the White Lion. But these whites are lying, because it was actually Sir John Hawkins in 1555 who piloted the first ship, Jesus of Lubeck, or the good ship Jesus, that brought the first of our enslaved fathers and mothers to these shores. See, the research of history outside the classrooms of the white man rewards us with amazing finds and discoveries. 1619 wasn't the beginning of slavery. 1619 was the beginning of the Negro. 64 years of separating families, cross-tribe breeding, murdering parents, sparing the infants, as to cut the child off from its roots. 3.5 generations of death and deprivation. See, this is how you produce the Negro. The Negro who will go in the field for the white man, but won't do nothing for himself. Hotep this, assalamu alaikum that, run into the white man's job, but ain't doing nothing for yourself. You find all the time in the world for the white man and find no time for Muhammad. But I digress. See, by the time our brother, Islamic scholar Omar ibn Said, by the time he was kidnapped in West Africa and brought to Charleston, South Carolina, right, in 1807, he didn't recognize his brother, the black man in America. We had been turned inside out. The brother of his kidnappers. We knew nothing of our brother's culture. We knew not his language. We knew nothing of his religion, Islam, nor of his God, Allah. Though we were once aware. Just like us, he came here knowing. But upon his arrival at the age of 37, see, I get it. A lot of brothers is late 20s, early to late 30s, early 40s. You're a fan of the teaching. But when you find out that there's a lot more to the Nation of Islam than just Sunday lectures on YouTube, when you find out that we have actual class rooms, it's hard to really cross over into that. You cause your own bluff. Those like you shouldn't even show your head. Just watch from afar. Don't even cheer. Just watch from afar. Because when you get close to us and you see the work that we doing and you never show up, well, that makes us not want you to be around us. I'm speaking for me personally. I'm talking to someone personally, but it's a general statement. I'm talking to all you niggas. At age 37, when our brother Omar showed up, he knew nothing about being forced to do nothing or nothing like that. He wasn't born into that. See, we born into this. We get so far ahead of ourselves that we think just because we eat bean pie, maybe even know how to bake one, that we just this righteous, all wise and civilized human being. But it don't go like that. See, we gonna keep the lights on. The black man in America, see, he needs a place to be taught and trained. You you are the question mark on the board. You're clueless. You have no idea. You're standing in quicksand. You're looking this way, but you're standing still on soil that will burn. Brother Omar came to these shores at 37. He had 26 years of study versus our 252 years of being denied the human right to study and to know. Listen to your brother. He said, before I came to the Christian country, my religion was the religion of Muhammad. Then there came to our place a large army who killed many men and took me and brought me to the great sea. He said, they sold me into the hands of Christians who bound me and sent me on board a great ship, and we sailed upon the great sea a month and a half when we came to a place called Charleston. He said he was sold to a small, weak man named Johnson. Did you catch that? He became the property of a weak boned, stale faced Christian named Johnson. So he is no longer Dr. Omar Ibn Said. He's now Dr. Omar African and American going together. Omar African, Johnson American, African American. Miss us with it all. We got work to do. I mean, like I said, I don't care how Pan African you claim to be, Johnson. The European conquered just like he conquered Omar. And as long as you keep the surname of Johnson, you are not only admitting, but also accepting defeat. It's wartime. Only the truth will survive. Brother Omar was born in 1770 to Said. So he's Omar ibn Said. Ibn means the son of. So he's Omar, son of Said. See? Brother Omar was the son of a Muslim. Said meaning blessed, joy, happy. Our roots, Islam. But just like most of us, Brother Omar, see, he was baptized in 1821 and died an enslaved Christian in Bladen County, North Carolina. That's about 2 hours south of Graham, North Carolina. It was in 1864. Shout out Graham, North Carolina. We shall return. Shout out Brother Jawan X. Been doing an excellent job at that roster. But black man, please stop thinking Arab when you think Islam. Brother Omar came from Africa, a Muslim, not Arabia. He came with the religion of Muhammad, the religion of his fathers, but died a Christian, the religion of the enslavers of his fathers, the Christian American white man. He died 1 year prior to the executive decree known as Juneteenth, or so-called Freedom Day, June 19th, 1865. Yet he died with the knowledge of himself. See, he was made a slave, but he wasn't made a Negro, though he was treated as such. After depriving us of the knowledge of ourselves, of our names, of our language, of our people, and our people's history, this white man called us Negro. Today, our mental power is yet Negro. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Negro means something that is dead, lifeless, neutral. He said Negro is a neutral thing, something you have to move. If you put it down, it'll stay there until moved. He said Negro is not something that has any power of itself. It's moved by the power of another. The Negro, as you all know, black man, was put down in the projects and ghettos of America's inner cities. And the Negro stayed until he was forcefully moved and displaced. Come on. You see it happening every day. American cities such as Washington, D.C., New York City, Atlanta, Baltimore, Philly. We see the expendable Negro being displaced at a time when improved housing and new businesses welcomes the influx of middle class whites. They displace you for not rich, wealthy whites, middle class whites. So, like, how low on the total pole must we be? They don't improve your neighborhood or your so called community before the influx of the middle class whites. They displace you, and they do this for their welcome and as a party in the sense of saying good riddance. See, politically, they call this gentrification, but scripturally, this is merely more scattering of God's people. Who are God's people? According to the Bible, they are the poor, despised, and rejected. Again, who are God's people? We've been demonstrating ever since we opened up with prayer. Some of y'all keep ducking the message or simply just not responding, not responsive. During the time of war, according to the Bible and the Holy Quran, God's people are the blind, deaf, and dumb, poor, despised, rejected, blind, deaf, dumb, summed up in one word: Negro, conquered by the Christian, wrapped up in the American flag, swallowed up by this white man since 1555. 1955, at the close of our predicted 400 years of servitude and affliction, America commemorated the first year anniversary of the Supreme Court's landmark decision, Brown versus Board of Education, where the highest court in the land that segregation in public schools based on race violated the 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America. The amendment that grants citizenship to all persons or naturalized in the United States, including formerly enslaved people, and provided all citizens with equal protection under the laws. See, an amendment ratified July 9th, 1868, 86 years before the landmark legislation, right? And 3 years after Juneteenth, or so-called Freedom Day of June 19th, 1865. If you were free, if you were equal, if you were a citizen, why did it take 86 years to get you inside the white man's classrooms? By the time they let us in, it was 400 years later. What took them so long? See, they only invite you to the fire. You see it as a party. But they only invite you to the party to get you to partake in the fire that is coming to them. $400 of deprivation to just 69 years of education. See, just 69 years of education. Now the black man thinks he's of America instead of just in America. 69 years of the white man's education. Now the black man thinks he's a white man. He thinks he's an American. He thinks he's a Democrat. He thinks he's a dope boy. He thinks he's a Mason. He thinks he's a gang member. He thinks he's a Christian. He thinks now that he's a member of the white man's society, or what they call integration. No land came with that integration, and you didn't integrate into the higher, finer society of the white man. No, this was just to get you to integrate with the lower class of whites. See, the white man is the lord of illusion. keep you duped. Hotep that, race first that, salam alaikum that over there. 69 years of education. Black man now. He thinks just because he believes he's a member of the white man's society, but all he actually is a 468-year-old stranger in a land that is not his. And he, God, said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Allah's message is through his messenger, and it is to the stranger in a land not his. It is message to the black man in America, delivered by the most humble and honorable Elijah Muhammad, last messenger of Allah and final warner. His messages during the time of impending danger, great trouble, and other unpleasant circumstances. His message is cautionary. It gives advanced notice for whatsoever the carcass is. There, not over there, there where the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered. That's today. Canada is in the West, but Canada is represented by the gray jay. You heard of the blue jay? This is the gray jay. Brazil. Brazil is in the West, but Brazil is represented by the rufous-bellied thrush. Mexico is in the West and is represented by the golden eagle, but the carcass ain't in Mexico. The carcass is in the United States, which is represented by the bald eagle. The carcass is the lifeless Negro made in America. You cry out for justice in America, but the laws of nature justifies the carcass being fed upon by the eagle. The eagle is a predator, and you, black man, are the prey of the eagle. You cry out for equality in America. But is the prey as equal as its predator? A carcass does not move. Therefore, the carcass cannot escape the dinner plate of the eagle. How you a true believer and you ain't in class? Only the Negro is lifeless. Only a Negro has to be moved. The carcass doesn't move. Might have to reassess while I digress yet again. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches that the Negro is a neutral thing and must be moved by a force outside of itself because the spirit of self-reliance was killed in him, dead to the knowledge of himself, dead to the knowledge or true identity of those who spitefully use and prey upon him. The white Christian American, whose United States or gathered eagles has him surrounded behind enemy lines. This beast stands ready to devour and sometimes delay in action until its black victim is already dead. This is the prey of the gathered eagles in the United States, the black man in America. This message is for you because you're in and not of America. Yes. You're of America in the sense that you're the prey of America. You're the product of America. You're the freed slave of America, but not of America in the sense that you're how the messenger said that you're of the earlier British colonies. You're not a member of the white Europeans or descendant of that race. You, black man, are the descendant of Abraham. The descendants of Abraham are to be redeemed at the time of judgment by the just judge of the judgment, Allah God in person. Know of surety, Abraham, that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. That's Genesis 15 and 13. Messenger Elijah Muhammad, see, he warns us in the book Our Savior Has Arrived to not look for the judgment to come. He says we are in the judgment now. See? Allah tells Abraham in verse 14, very next verse, that nation whom his descendants shall be enslaved to, after that time, after 400 years of slavery and oppression, Allah says, will I judge? And after that judgment, will the seed of Abraham come out of that fallen nation with great substance and join on again with our fathers from whence we came, the Islamic East. That's the black man. That's America. That's today. That's Master Farah Muhammad, Allah in person in America to redeem the black man in America. All praises due to Allah for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. 2 Peter 2 and 3. And through greed shall they with vain words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. This is Bible. This white Englishman, slave trading devil. See, he approached us in the East with greed in his grafted heart and deception in his words. The Christian slave trader. He came humble. He came in peace. He approached Black Muslims and made an interpretation. He translated from his own English language to the language that we spoke, wrote, and understood, and said, As-salamu alaikum, which only means peace be unto you. You see, in our original language, he came speaking peace. He was speaking peace, but his words were feigned, full of deceit. In our original language of Arabic, he made an interpretation that we receive gold for our labor and helping to build up what they call the New World. More gold than we was earning in our own country. Then did we receive gold? No. The trader disappeared. There was no one that could speak our language. We wasn't brought here to earn a living. We were brought here for slave purposes. They sold, bought, and traded us as merchandise. They earned a living. We died in captivity. And through greed shall they, with feigned words, make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingers not. It won't be long now, devil. Your judgment is now. And your damnation slumbers not. Because God's justice has awakened. It's time. Allah is in person to bring about a great separation between the white merchant of America and the black merchandise in America. He's handling the affair personally under the name Master W. Farah Muhammad Mahdi the Great to eliminate the wicked merchant but redeem the stolen merchandise. Great and dreadful days. Elijah the prophet and Prophet Muhammad both said, "Thus saith the Lord." But Elijah, the messenger, the last messenger, says, "Here is the Lord." Allah is present. The Lord came here to North America by himself. He revealed himself to us in Black Bottom, Detroit, Michigan, July 1930. Elijah the prophet is said to have heard the still small voice of the Lord after the earthquake and the fire. But Elijah the messenger, he hears the small, still voice or low-toned whisper just before the shaking of the earth and just before the fire, just before the fall of America. Messenger Elijah Muhammad said, upon meeting him for the first time in 1931, he told the God, "I know who you are. You're the one that the world has been expecting for the past 2,000 years. under the name Jesus, Son of Man, the second coming of Jesus, huh? The Messiah. He said the God looked at him kind of stern and put his head down next to his and whispered, who else knows that but yourself? And to keep quiet on his true identity. He said this in the ear of his messenger upon meeting him. And he said it with a whisper, a still small voice. He left from the right side of the board, which represents the Islamic East, and traveled to the Christian West on the left side of the board. See, he had to get up and get active. He had to have left a place to travel left. That's why some of y'all is going to be left behind. He came here. Wow. Master Farad Muhammad. He came to the land and government represented by what they call the Star Spangled Banner, the opposing flag on this actual facts board here. The North Corner or North Country in the Western Hemisphere. 6 white stripes following 7 red stripes. 7 red stripes representing the light of the sun, as does the red in our flag of Islam represents. 6 white stripes representing the just 6,000 years the white race was allotted to live and rule on our planet in the light of our sun. But that time has exhausted. Allah comes to the north corner in the Western Hemisphere. In the northwest corner of the white man's flag is a blue square. The blue representing the blue skies and blue waters that he dominates with his Air Force and his Navy. The color blue is an untrue color, so teaches Messenger Elijah Muhammad, because we know that neither the sky nor the water is actually blue. So he, the white man, is the Lord of illusion. It appears that he's dominating in the skies and the water, but it is Allah who is holding up his planes in our skies. It is Allah that hasn't decided to sink his submarines and battleships, because it is Allah who controls the winds and the waves. All praises due him. In between the sky and the water is himself. 50 white stars representing the 50 white heads in 50 different states, each state representing its own individual eagle. But these eagles are gathered together, united as one eagle or one nation, the United States of America. To gather is to unite. Allah is in person to gather us. The white man has gathered his states, and now his states are disunited. Do you know the time? You haven't been treated fairly, black man, because you're in America and not of America. You haven't been treated fairly, black man, because you've been inside that blue square in the North Country for the past 468 years. Blue represents deceit. Blue represents feigned words. Those white stars don't represent justice for you, black man. Those white stars represents his own judicial system, where he proves every day in his courtrooms that his white stars represents himself and not you. This white man's education ain't worth a damn. From his classrooms to his courtrooms, you lose, black man. From the class. $69 years of education. Just 69 years. And you just celebrated freedom of a white man this past July 4th. Though Allah person and brought you your own flag and declared you an independent nation July 4th, 1930. Where you been at? We've been waiting for you to return home. See, it's time for the prophecy to be fulfilled. It's time for this nation who we served as slaves to be judged. It's time for us to exit America. It's time for us to join back on with our own. So Allah brought us these 6 words. He said, to accept your own and be yourself. Everything else outside of self has failed you, black man. Islam comes after all else has failed you. So teaches Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Black man is losing because the black man ain't accepting his own, chasing everything outside of himself. The white man gives him ideas and he goes and he chases after that. Sometimes we chase after this white man so much that we chase him right to our grave. We die not knowing. You just celebrated the white man's Independence Day, not your own nation's independence. The white man's independence. All while hollering, free your nephew, your little cousin, and your little brother. You see? You hollering free the guys while celebrating the free nation that sank them. We've been at war. The devil has had a 6,000-year head start on us. He's murdered 100 million original people for every 1,000 years he's been on our planet. But see, now we are at the end of his murder spree. Retaliation is now due. Allah is in present because Elijah is with us. Elijah means God is with us. You see, Elijah, he's the proof Elijah is revered as the warrior prophet. Isn't it only proper that Elijah be raised by the Lord, a man of war? Exodus 15:3 teaches us a Lord that is, in fact, in truth, in real life, in real time, a man of war. Elijah is raised during a time of war, the war of Armageddon. Look around or scroll around. Is this a time of peace or is this a time of war? With 27 live conflicts the world over and rumors of more conflicts to come. Is this a time of peace or is this a time of war? The Elijah of the past was a miracle work from the northern kingdom of Israel. Elijah of the present is a miracle work from North America, the United States of America. Elijah and Elijah are tied today, just as Israel and the United States are tied today. Elijah of today, the most humble and honorable Elijah Muhammad, is the true harbinger of the Messiah. He forewarns of the great and dreadful day of the Lord, the Messiah, the man of war, Allah God in person. A harbinger is a person that announces or signals the approach of another. He foreshadows the coming of one greater than himself. During a great day, just before the dreadful day of the Lord, the man of war. See, Allah's bringing the war. The white man already struck. He's been striking for 6,000 years. Retaliation is due. It's going to take a man of war. A man of war with supreme knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and power. See, he's the only one capable of making war with this beast. He's the only one capable of producing soldiers that can fight in this war. Are you connected to Master Farah Muhammad? Because I don't think he would allow you to just be sitting still, spilling noodle juice while you in the bed trying to hold your phone and eat noodles at the same time, tweeting and YouTubing and Assalamu alaikum, and your chairs is empty. And yeah, I know. Your head is empty. Come to class, Negro. Allah's the gatherer. You're not being gathered as you sit on your couch. You think you've done your Islamic thing for the year because you watched the lecture on YouTube. The white man shuts YouTube down, then what? Now you ain't Muslim no more. I don't know who y'all think y'all be playing with. You can't fool a Muslim nowadays. The coming of Allah, the raising of his messenger, the separation of the two people, black and white, and the fall of America. In that order, all strategic war tactics. The coming of Allah was under the veil of darkness. He came in sinful flesh. He came as a thief in the night. See, a successful thief gets away with the intended merchandise. The scripture says he came as a thief, not that he is a thief. He doesn't come to steal the merchandise. He comes to claim and to redeem it. For as the lightning comes out of the east and shines even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Jesus confirms, Christian, that the Son of Man isn't coming from the sky. The Son of Man is coming from the east to the west. Why? Because the black man's kidnapping was in the east and he was hidden in the west. See, the black man is the lost sheep. He's the misplaced. He's the displaced. He's the disrespected. Allah comes to redeem that man, the one that the world say can't live again. Allah comes in person and shows, proves his power. Full of nothing like me. The streets of Cleveland, 110 from Woodland, pull me up out the streets, pull me out the trap. Striving to represent the most honorable Elijah Muhammad in this hour. Spit flames as I do it too, though. If I must say so myself. All praise is due to Allah, though, who came in the person of Master Farah Muhammad for gifting us the most humble and honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's because those two lights is why we will keep the lights on. All praises due. We just having a little discussion. We got to get some of us caught up with the time. Even some of us who running around here talking about Assalamu alaikum. They got kufis on, they got bow ties on, they got straight ties on. I mean, they got their sweats on. I mean, they got their wife beaters on. They got their favorite song on. They got their favorite noodle packet sauce bowl going. Watching us cheering, jeering outside the classroom. Some try to slide in the chat room and get taught, but no training comes through the internet. You claim to be convinced already. What's next, black man? Elijah wants to know, how long halt ye between two opinions? Jesus confirms that the Son of Man isn't coming from the sky. The Son of Man is coming from the east to the west. Because Brother Omar ibn Said was taken out of the east, the Islamic east, and died in the Christian west. Allah promised you a deliverer. He gave you the time. Then he came in person, on time, in time, to make good on that promise. the Nation of Islam, and in North America, all this time. And by now, the whole of the Black nation in America should be unified under this banner on the right side, the correct side of the board. United as one people, because we are one people who were enslaved as one people. The white man comes to our communities, selects one here and there and there and there. See, he wanna enslave us as a unit, but then start freeing us individually. No, that's not justice. That's not justice. Allah is in person to render justice, and you will soon see what justice looks like. Allah treads the wine press alone. He's Mahdi, the self-guided one. He treads the wine press alone, where the soil is stained with the blood of the black man. As crushed grapes stains the garment. This is America. According to HBCU.com, European Americans were the only group to see a decrease in their unemployment rate from May, with a 20 basis point drop. And so-called African Americans led all other groups: Latino Americans, Asian Americans, European Americans. Again, with the largest increase in their unemployment rate, with a 40 basis point increase from May. Sinking in the white man's streets, sinking in his workforce. This is the fall of America. We can't continue with the current flow. We got to create new waves or drown in our own ignorance. But we play spades while the white man, the enemy of the righteous, we play spades while he plays chess. See, in real life, white versus black on the planet. On the planet belonging to the original man, not mankind. Mankind is the white man. He's kind of like the original man, but our natures are contrary to one another. And this is why we just cannot get along with them in peace. We don't waste time searching for that does not exist. We go on, we create something. Chess. In real life. A war to determine either continued world dominance of the white race or shift in power, a change in world rulership, the return to power of the black man. Holy Quran, chapter 2, verse 190, and section 24, entitled Fighting and Defense. We read, and fight in the way of Allah against those who fight against you, but be not aggressive. Surely Allah loves not the aggressors. short verse. I'll read again. And fight in the way of Allah against those who fight against you, but be not aggressive. Surely Allah loves not the aggressors. See, it's white versus black and not black versus white, because white attacks first. White is the aggressor. Allah loves not the aggressor. You can't seek justice from a man who's going to die because he denies you justice. It ain't in him to give it to you. His time is up anyway. Ain't no such thing as a minister of Elijah Muhammad hugging and kissing on white Catholic priests. But this is chess. Wink. Oink for some of y'all. I'm talking about some of y'all Muslims. Y'all be talking about y'all Muslims, but y'all be eating that pork flavored noodle, watching us, cheering and jeering. I don't know. It is white versus black. Because in the game of chess, black doesn't attack first, white attacks first. That's the true nature of the black man. That's the true nature of the white man. Let's look at it. Somebody knew something. White is the aggressor. See, black fights with those who fight with black. That's Holy Quran. That's chess. That's real life. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us. Let me bag up. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches and trains us to be humble but commanding. Did you hear the opening prayer? Or was that when you was ripping the soup packet, getting ready to? Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches and trains us to be humble and commanding. He said, we are not immune to getting angry with you, because when one of us is angry, both of us is angry. So don't make us angry. The FOI are some of the most humble and disciplined men on the planet that should not be aggressed against, that would be unprovoked and therefore unjust. Holy Quran 40 and 17. This day, every soul is rewarded what it has earned. No injustice this day. Surely Allah is swift in reckoning. We are at the end of 6,000 years of injustice throughout the earth and 400 years of injustice throughout the wilderness of North America at the hands of this white man. Christian crosses atop chess pieces, Catholic bishops, Christian knights, white queens, castles, and sacrificial pawns of their own race. Chess ain't been nothing but practice for the War of Armageddon, the final clashing between the two great titans on our planet, black and white, Christianity versus Islam. Which one will survive the War of Armageddon? You are not of America. You are not of the European race. Your people are on this side, black man. This question should be easy for you. It's our planet. Knowing every square mile of it. Coming through the door. Some of y'all can't get past the writing of the letter process to even advance. Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, last and greatest messenger of Allah, teaches us that the earth belongs to the black man. Messenger Elijah Muhammad teaches us that in this next world that's coming in, against your will, I'm talking about the noodle eaters, the soup packet mans. You don't want this next world to come in because you know you're going down in the quicksand. You just want to chill and watch TV and play on the internet. Pack you a little lunch and go sit you on the corner somewhere, man. You good. You ain't in nobody way. Talking about chess, though. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't sit down and play the physical game of chess in the sense that, you know, moving pieces on the chess board. He's playing chess in real life. Just like this white man. Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us the earth belongs to us. But to accept this is to accept your own. To accept this is to accept rulership. Not sitting down, chilling. What messenger y'all been listening to? Because like we, you know, we listen to them all day, every day. You know, around the far I'm at, I don't really know what y'all got going on. Like I ain't asking. It was rhetorical because I really don't care. If y'all know me, y'all know I really just don't care. But I'm just saying, it's our planet. It's chess. It's chess board. What does that chess board represent? You know, boy Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the square mileage of the planet Earth is 196 million square miles. He said the land is 57,255,000 square miles. The water is 139,685,000 square miles. The useful land that is used every day by the total population of the planet Earth is 29 million square miles. The original man uses 23 million square miles. The white man uses 6 million square miles. 6 million square miles, man. So we say like the size of the United States and Canada combined. According to USDA.gov, of all private United States agricultural land, of all private agricultural land in the United States, whites account for 96% of the owners, 97% of the value, and 98% of the acres. How you even think you could even come into this white man's courtrooms and demand equality when he owns everything and you have nothing? You are not his equal. But see, all of this land that he owns here is irrelevant because it will burn. Allah got something else for us. Accept your own and be yourself, black man. You are in America. You are not of America. It's time that you know that. And it's time that you get active. White man owning all this land, controlling everything. It's his laws, it's his flag, it's his religion, it's his cross, it's his pig. That's his white woman. Get that man his woman back. Sister, I know you ain't. This chessboard got 64 squares on it. We're talking about the square mileage. Now we're talking about the 64 squares. Why 64 squares? Why not 54 squares? Why not 74 squares? Why 64 squares? You know, I remember some time ago, early on in my study, maybe around somewhere around the 10th year, maybe. You know, it was definitely before that in the prison library. Once upon a time, the United States was documented as being 3.2 million square miles, while Canada, the white man's neighbor to the north, was documented as being 3.2 million square miles as well. These figures, when added on to one another, would be 6.4 million in square miles. I found that interesting. Today, the United States is documented as being 3.7 million square miles, and Canada is now 3.8 million square miles. I found that even more interesting because I mean, like, damn, I heard of land deteriorating, but I ain't never heard of the land getting bigger, getting longer, getting wider. That's what you do. Us who are still on this slave diet, we get wider. What is this white man feeding the earth? We know what he feeding you, but what is he feeding the earth that he got the earth now growing in size? I mean, like, I don't know. I just thought that that was very, very interesting. What we talking about square mileage. We talking about 64 squares. Talking chess. That number 64 represents the from 1555 to 1619. The death of the black man and the birth of the Negro. This is why there's a message to the black man in America today, because it's time. That 400 years of not knowing has expired. The black man must know today. You must know because you must choose. The choice is yours once you've chosen. I mean, I guess we've done our part, our ways. Because two can't walk together unless they are in agreement. But it seems as if this devil had been planning for the war of Armageddon ever since they appeared on our planet. And because chess is a boring board game to you, you don't think tactfully. chess is it's boring. You can't sit still. You gotta jump from this video to that video to this live to that live. I mean, you gotta go back in the kitchen and look in the refrigerator again. I mean, you can't, you know, chess is a boring board game to you. But chess is a tactical war uh, exercise. Uh, they call it war games for those paying attention. They've been planning, practicing, and preparing for the War of Armageddon because the War of Armageddon is the final war. World War III, the war that ends all war. The devil studies the art of war against his enemies, but he teaches his enemies that they are the enemies of themselves. He gets you to quarreling, fighting, and killing one another, and then he moves in and rules you both. This is the devil. While playing chess, you are engaged in war games and are looking at the battlefield from an aerial perspective. And so is your opponent. The Holy Quran teaches us that the devil, as well as his allies, sees you from whence you see them not. The devil is the white man. The white man chose the bald eagle to represent his nation, his army, his government. He plays chess from the aerial perspective of the eagle. See, we bear witness to Allah and his messenger in the present tense, in the present state. That state is represented by its own bird, the mother of all planes. If we do not connect with our Savior, Master Farah Muhammad, Allah, God in person, through prayer, after accepting him, you'll die in vain. You'll die in your ignorance, and you'll die in your arrogance. You will go down with the beast, standing still, partying and planting in quicksand. See, his hosts, his allies, are looking down on the board from an aerial perspective as well. That mother plane. But we're his pieces on the ground. Except we bear the Muslim crescent. No Christian knights. No Christian kings. No white queens. No castles. We're on the opposing side of the board. We accept and we bear the Muslim crescent. We have Muslim ministers, captains, and lieutenants, and MGT, temples, and rank and file soldiers. Master Farah Muhammad is guiding the true believers. Elijah made that connection for us. Elijah does not have to be present because he already connected us. We doubt a black God and we doubt black divinity because we doubt ourselves. So you're unresponsive, black man. Unresponsive means someone not moving and does not respond when you call them or gently shake their shoulders. Unresponsive. You pose a silly question as a believer. You get your shoulders shook. And you still don't respond. You go right back to the foolishness. Unresponsive. You left the messenger on red. You have an unread message, black man. You left the messenger on red. It's from Elijah Muhammad. It's the final message that will save your life when all other life around you will perish. The only warner coming after Elijah is the one that we read of in the Revelation, who places one foot on land and one foot on sea. The black and white squares. This is he who brings the fire after the trumpet is blown. The wait for the Messiah is over, Christian. No more should the Mahdi be expected, Muslim. You both have been oblivious to the arrival of this promised and expected one. 93 years now, which makes for a most pressing time. The time in which is most dire, and a great decision must be made today. The black man today is a doubter instead of a decider. He doubts the reality of God. He doubts his ability to unite and to do for self. He doubts that there is one who was able to make war with the beast who has him swallowed up. Doubt is indecision between belief and disbelief, somewhere in between the two. You doubt the reality of the true and living God, but you see Elijah. Well, the true and living God raised Elijah. You doubt the ability of the unification of black men and women, but you see the FOI and you see the MGT. You doubt the fall of the white race while witnessing the fall of America. Doubtful, indecisive, clueless, lazy, the question mark on the board. Hesitant, tentative, stuck at a standstill between two opinions. And Elijah came unto all the people and said, how long halt ye between two opinions? If the Lord be God, follow him. But if Baal, then follow him. And the people answered him not a word. Think over that. You watch Sunday after Sunday after Sunday after Sunday. You hear what Elijah is saying to you through his ministers. But you don't respond with nothing that's showing advancement in what you say you stand on. Elijah, right here, is speaking to the doubtful, the undecided, those who party and plant in quicksand. Nearly 2,000 grandmasters in the world. India just crowned a 64th one. I think that was in 2019, I think. Many of these grandmasters are from Russia and the United States. Russia with 206 and the United States having 106. Both of these nations are at war. Messenger Elijah Muhammad said he wants an education for his people the black man and woman in America that will elevate them. We can't continue going with the current flow. We have got to create new waves. We've got to do something for ourselves. United States students right now consistently score lower in math and science than students from many other countries. But the United States is yet considered the superior system in the world. See, this could only be if you rule the world and ruling through force and deceit. You tell me right here in America, as wise and as bright as you think you are, you tell me right here in America that Mary had a baby without the agency of a man. Shut up. You're not qualified to argue science. You tell us God is one, but you try and divide three into one, including some fatherless son and some ghost y'all call holy. Shut up. You're not qualified to argue mathematics. America has taught us nothing. The devil gives us nothing. Yet here we are hearing him and obeying him. We're supposed to hear and obey the true and living God. We hear and obey the devil. He telling you noodles, noodles, noodles against class, 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 class. He telling you YouTube, YouTube, YouTube. He telling you that. He got you confused. Are there any good white? Damn, from the beginning to the end. I mean, where the messenger? Like, how do you? Oh, the messenger said, "I always close the door behind me." How do you even come up with these questions? How do some of you suckers in the so-called black conscious community, how y'all even throw these lame attacks at the Nation of Islam? We sit back and we listening to them. We like, oh God, this is nothing. Then we got to come before the people and defend the messenger because y'all got the people in y'all pocket as you sell them Chevy trucks and dog biscuits. How long halt ye between two opinions? Which one will survive the war of Armageddon? Elijah wants to know. See, the person attempting to travel two roads at once will get nowhere, said Junzi, follower of Confucius. It's either this or that. It ain't no in between because the in between, see, that's also quicksand. It's time, black man. This is the day of decision. And America is that valley of decision where you must decide. Allah has come, raised his messenger. He's gathering his people as to bring about the great separation and simultaneously bring on the process of the fall of America. See, that's four major moves at a most dire time, all done with skill and tactics. It's wartime. All while you are oblivious to the time. What say you? Are you a black man? Do you live in America? Why don't you own and read this book? Message to the Black man in America. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.